Welcome to Comic Cave, the podcast where art and imagination collide. I'm your host, DnDWife, and joining me every episode is Couple of Nerds' very own master artist, EntLynk.
Each week, we dive into the creative process behind art, from comics and character designs to the vibrant world of Extrayus and beyond.
So whether you're an artist, an art lover, or just here for the good vibes, there's a seat for you in the cave. Let's create something magical. So today we are talking about another Helscarred in our series here that we've been covering. Last week we did the Helscarred of Gluttony, and this time we're taking on Azreth's Chosen, the Helscarred of Greed. And these Helscarred are marked by a lot of very opulent-looking features that definitely show, right? Someone who would be greedy would definitely want to have things like golden skin, bejeweled looking eyes, things like that, that call to people. And so you that would be like the enticing thing. And I wanted to really portray that in this artwork. And so we're going to be discussing a little bit of the individual characteristics that I kind of made up in my head for references for the Helscarred of Greed. We'll be going over like the skin, the eyes, horns, tails, just different features that I thought might be like important to creating a character as this.
Yeah, kind of like the average, right? And then you can build from here, which is nice.
Yeah, just like a little blueprint. Yeah, thank you for that.
Absolutely.
That really helps. So these are exactly just that, suggestions, which means they're not like the set in stone rules. You don't have to worry about having to be exact to the specifications. They're just kind of, references to be inspirational. And so when we look at the skin in particular, as we start here, the description was really amazing for the Helscarred of Greed. Like I said, my husband created all the like little descriptions for them, and they're really just one or two sentences, a few words, but they really portray, to me at least, what these Helscarred looked like. And so I really wanted to put that to paper. And the way that the skin was portrayed is that the base of the skin, which is like the most part of it, is usually like differs between different metallic tones.
Kind of like shades of gold, it seems like, just very like almost earthy in that sense, where it's very like warm, like sometimes even brown, because some golds are really deep, and in shadow they'll be kind of like that darkish brown.
And they also have skin like brass, things like that, so they're very metallic.
Brass is another really good one. And then I see that there's like veins as well, so it's not enough for them to just have like the outward appearance, but like it's almost like as if they're bursting with this gold essence.
Exactly, like it's coming out. It can't be contained, right? And I love it because there are these little cracks of gold through them, and they don't have to be gold, right? They could be silver, they could be other little things that you want running through the skin. But it is to show, right, that inner beauty, that wealth that they represent is trying to burst out of their skin, almost literally. And you can even see it too, as we go in deeper. I tried to do like the metallic, non-metallic type of approach to creating metal looks in artwork, whereas like you don't use the actual metallic color for it. You build it using like lighter and darker tones. And so I tried it a little bit. I think if you zoom in, you can see the variances in color a little better.
I think it really looks good up close, which is such a feat, but especially when you zoom out, like I feel like it still reads, which I feel is like a testament to the success here, because I've played with like metallics too, and especially like I've learned that, like you said, like it's not just about whatever brush you're using as like some type of shortcut. Sometimes like blanketing and texture is great, but for fine details like this, you really want to like actually hone your skill on it. And the way you've put like your darkest darks and your lightest lights, like highlights next to each other, it really gives that like molten gold effect.
Oh, that's cool. I'm so glad. Great. I'm really glad actually that's what that looks like. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Metallics are hard.
They're painting so difficult.
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
And in the miniature painting community, we get a lot of shit for using like the actual metallic paints. Doing the non-metallic paints to create that effect is seen as like the epitome of being able to do your craft. So they are very difficult to portray.
That tracks. I could definitely see like maybe like a compromise of using it in combination. Maybe a base and then putting,
the depth in there.
Yeah.
I like that idea. So I did cheat a little bit because I I did do the veining, the gold veining in an actual like veining type of pen that I found on Clip Studio. So I wasn't trying to spend all day on these references either, right? But I did want to give that effect, and I think I found a pretty good brush. What do you think?
I think so too. I feel like you really struck that balance of like you found a good brush to give you that base, that core base, but then you made it your own and you embellished it to really make it like, because sometimes like it definitely shows in my earlier art sometimes and still now, where it's like you found a really great asset, but then you're trying to like work it in to make it feel cohesive still. And sometimes it's like, okay, that's the person's art and then that is definitely an asset or something. But this I wouldn't be able to tell. I feel like you've really made it your own.
Yeah, because I've done that before too in my artwork as well. As I'm still a newbie. I'm still learning.
We've all done it,
right? But yeah, you do feel that way sometimes when using the asset brushes, that you're like working to fit them in, that they're not just naturally looking like they already fit in. You have to do a little bit of work for that. So it is really difficult to get that effect. Thank you so much.
Sometimes, yeah.
I'm really
this looks
glad.
Incredible. Yeah. And then I'm wondering how you got the effects in the eyes as well.
Oh,
because they kind of reflect that same intensity of the metals.
Yeah, so for the eyes, I just moved over the pieces of skin. I enlarged them so that I could do the eyes within that same type of motif. So you still get the cracked gold underneath the skin. And then for the eyes, so I used a lot of the same corresponding colors. For like the eyelashes, I used 2 tones. That way it could give a little bit of depth. It's not too detailed, but I just kind of wanted to give like the hint of what it's supposed to look like, right? And for the eyes specifically, I used glow brushes, which you can find on Clip Studio. There's a bunch of different types, so I had to kind of shop around for ones that worked. And I did. I found one that really captured color well, as well as gave like that glowing effect. And as you can see, the effect changes where depending on where it's placed in the artwork. So underneath here, the eyeball itself, like the pupil, as you can see, there's like a little dark sort of halo around that glow. I didn't put that there. That's part of the glow effect of the brush that I was using. And it was because I didn't do this on a separate layer. I did this on the same layer as the golden rod underneath.
So the color mixing like properties were different.
I think so. I think it worked that way. And I actually really liked that effect, so I kept it. I think I made a mistake in the layering because I didn't put an extra layer on, but then it did this and I was like, I can't stop.
It's a happy accident because I think the contrast bodes well, especially since you have the black sclera too. Like it ties it all in without like it's intense, but it's not harsh, if that makes any sense.
Right. And I'm glad it comes off as coming out on purpose. Right? It gives the vibe of
take
purpose.
That credit, girl. Take that credit.
I did that totally. And then I added on a separate layer to not give it that darker halo. I did add some more glow effects to kind of give it that shine that eyes have that we like to give them.
Yeah. I do like that effect where it's like all in one brush you get the halo, but the brush stroke maintains their edges, you know, because there's some glow brushes or even like the airbrush, if it's like the standard airbrush, it's just kind of hazy, you know, it gets muddy really quick instead of like, you know, feeling like a highlight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely wanted to avoid that, which is I think why I was trying to use layers as much as possible. So
no, like, don't muddy. Good.
And then in the second eyeball version that I did, I lightened things up so you don't see that same halo on the inside. Because I wanted to just give it like a brighter vibe than the darkness of the top one.
Yeah, it's a little softer.
Yeah.
And I think that really...
more cheery.
Yeah, it fits with the lighter skin tone as well. Like it's that like really bright gold.
Yeah, right? It's really coming through strong. It's shining. So we're like, this is more brass or maybe... bronze, I think. Yeah, more bronze, I would say. Yeah. And this is more gold. So yeah, I would give this like a more somber look versus this is much cheerier, much brighter. The eyes are like open a little wider too, so it's like full of wonder. I did include an effect in here that I include in all the eyes is I tried to capture a little bit of what the resting face is. And for the greed, it's always this like squinting look, like they're trying to like discern what something is worth, right?
Yeah,
when you're looking at a diamond, you're like squinting at it like that.
They're always trying to like gauge the value or like I'm sure of items and people, like the people they're surrounded by. Like,
and
who can I get close
they do
to?
it without knowing, right? Because they're Helscarred. They're trying not to embody
It's
these
almost like
feelings.
a temptation that they have to then notice and consciously be like, oh, no, no, no.
Yeah. Or have to always live with the fact that their eyes are just always assessing things for their worth. That's a tough thing to try to overcome.
Yeah. Or even like, I could imagine like dealing with people's perceptions of you.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you were really like not embracing this nature of yours, like if you were really against it, as the
Trying not to
Helscarred,
be.
as they often are, then you're always paranoid about like, oh, this person must think I'm only looking at them for their
worth.
stuff. Yeah. That's so cool.
Or they might think, oh, maybe they just think I'm being their friend because they're dressed well, or they pay for my things. So yeah, that is always the thought, and I like the inclusion of giving them these sort of polarizing looks, because they are complete opposites of what they are. I think I'm working on the Wrath Helscarred right now, and so they're looking very menacing and very angry all the time, but they're really just teddy bears. They don't want to hurt anybody. Same thing with the Greed folk, right? They look like they just want to take all the jewelry right off of you and all the good stuff off of you, but they honestly, they're probably some of the most giving people in Extrayus. They really try to do a lot of charity work. They're honestly, I would say, like the closest to what like monks would be in our world, where they eschew a lot of the like mortal trappings, a lot of the opulence of the world. Anything that's seen as a luxury, or even something just that makes life easier, is frowned upon by them, I would think.
I really love that irony of like how they themselves look like they're cast in gold, and they're often a lot of these designs are often very like, I guess, alluring or provocative of their demon, but then that's what they're working against.
Yep. That's
that
what they're fighting.
Double-edged sword. Really cool.
And it's really tough, right, when things look this beautiful, to say no. To say, I don't want to do that. I can't imagine what it's like for the lust Helscarred. To not give in to temptation like that.
Pretty privileged to the max.
Right, because I imagine it's fairly easy to be like, I don't want money, right? That's not my thing. But when you're in love with someone and you want to share something with it, like that's got to be difficult, right?
That's a little more insidious, because it's like very emotional. You start feeling like personal ties.
Yeah. And you can always justify, be like, well, it's just this one time for this one person I love. And then it just kind of escalates from there.
Right.
Yeah. Ooh.
Good
giving
stuff.
me tingles.
I'm very actually, learning more about the Helscarred makes me more impressed with the people in our group who have decided to play them.
Yeah, seriously. Especially for our little side story.
Yeah, we have 2 people right now, Lust and Wrath Helscarred, and I don't know, really cool stuff and a lot of implications for the rest of the game.
Absolutely. What happens if your Lust companion loses their coverings?
I would love that.
Right?
That's the thing, is like, obviously characters wouldn't want certain outcomes, but us as players, chaos to the max.
We'd
Let's
love to
do
see
it,
it, right? It's like reality TV. We just want to watch it burn. But when we look further on, we come here to the horns of the Greed Helscarred, and it's in that same vibe, right? The metallic. I really wanted to keep that but
very
look.
elegant as well. Like, they're not harsh and jagged. They look very like polished.
They're smooth. They curve upwards gently, so it definitely looks like worked metal, like it's been created into something.
Very sculptural. Yeah,
very jewel-like, very crown-like, and they've got these ridges on them, and this glow about them, because they are, like you said, they look like polished, burnished gold or bronze or whatever.
And I have to ask, do they come out this way, or are these Helscarred like keeping up their horn hygiene? Like, they have to polish them themselves, or are they just naturally, effortlessly beautiful?
That's a good question. I would say it's natural because of who they are, but there is always that, question is do they maintain themselves to a certain standard, or do they try to cover that up? Do they just let it go because they don't want it? So maybe they won't be polished in some cases. Maybe they'll be dull and tarnished.
That could be a cool thing that's just kind of up to the player or up to like whatever society they're, you know, like more like contextual around what you're fitting this into in your game. That would be a really cool idea.
Like I'd love to see a tarnished silver Helscarred. Where it's starting to look like that dark gray.
Yeah, like almost greenish even if it gets like, ooh, now I'm thinking of like copper.
Turning green, like the Statue of Liberty. Yeah. And then some golden cracks through that or silver cracks through. Oh, that would look so
cool. Just the contrast of the green and then the underlying.
Definitely a challenge for you out there. I would love to see that in the Couple of Nerds Discord and Comic Cave.
100%. I could even see like, if I had the time, I'm already seeing in my head like a lineup of different like, I don't know, proportions and shades and like levels of tarnish of all these different Helscarred.
Oh, now I want to do all this. Now I want to take up the pen and start going.
This is the problem when we discuss ours, we get too hyped and we're just like, oh my god, the ideas, where did they come from?
It's a little too much inspiration now. I've got work for days.
Got all the notepad is just filled up. No art, just notes.
Right. Well, good thing we record these because then we can remind ourselves, and you guys can remind us too if we've missed anything.
Dude, seriously, if any of this inspires art in the Discord, I'll die.
Oh, I would love to see that, because just thinking about what it would do, I don't have all the time to sit here and do all the different versions, but it would be nice to
even
see.
the different perspectives, because you know, we're overflowing here, but you know, we can't think of everything. Everyone's got their different perspective.
And there's always new takes on things, right? Like, these are just suggestions. I always like to make sure that I emphasize that regardless of what you see, you can always mix it up, change it up. Maybe it's not a metallic toned Helscarred. Maybe it's a jewel toned Helscarred with blue skin, or you know, right?
Like sapphire horns.
Or what if they look not like the Twilight vampires, but like chiseled diamond, right? That actually sparkles properly in the sunlight, not like glitter.
Like you can see all the facets. Love that.
Right? That would be so cool. So I definitely give that challenge out there. And the horns do rise up from the Helscarred in a crown-like fashion, I will say.
So kind of like straight up. Yeah.
They embody greed. And who's richer than a monarch?
That's right. Right? Anybody who hoards wealth, really.
Maybe just Bezos. But this isn't fantasy.
Now you got me over here picturing Jeff Bezos
with
all the features of the Helscarred.
Maybe somebody will put that out there. I'd love to see that.
Great meme image, actually.
Right?
Super niche, but great.
Well, he doesn't fight his greed, so who knows?
He embraces it. Oh my god. So
he's an evil Helscarred.
He's like, I'm sure someone like that who embraces their Helscarred traits, like, would they like more and more embody them?
I think so.
That's cool.
They would be polishing their horns.
Oh, for sure.
They would be doing
every day.
Yeah, with
every day.
The most expensive oils possible.
They sell the oil.
Oh, they do. Hell yeah, they do.
They're like,
of course,
my brand is the best brand. Obviously,
keep your horns shiny and clean. Oh my gosh! But I did try to keep that same like metallic, non-metallic look in them as well. But
I like the strong gleam because I see you've got like the different varying effects there, where it's like the sharper gleam and then there's the more like diffuse gleam.
Yep, for like light that's not as direct on there. You're in soft light versus just, I think this is just I didn't do enough definition or softening it up.
There's just harsh light.
Yeah,
it was all done on
light,
purpose.
Of course,
yeah,
of course.
Obviously, it was an artistic decision.
And then we get to one of probably my favorite parts of this entire piece, which is the tail. And this tail was described as being long, thin, in the same tone as the skin tones. And then at the end, there's a tip of the tail that is usually a cluster of some sort of mineral or jewel, gem, something like that. So I really, really loved doing this one. So I did the same thing for the tail that I did for the skin, did the non-metallic gold on there, and then I did the veining of gold as well. So it comes up with this really cool effect. But my favorite part is the tip of this tail, which I spent so many hours on.
Dude, the textures you achieved are insane, actually.
Yeah.
The contrast, it looks so good.
I'm so glad. I used a reference for this, and I like made sure to be like, okay, this is how crystal like functions. This is how it grows. And I spent more time on this little bit alone than I did the entire like whole other piece.
That's the crazy part, is that it really does just come down to time.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is also just such a testament to the power of references too, because you'll spend your day like turning the wheels with nothing, and then you find yourself a really good reference, because picking your references is just as important.
Oh yeah.
But man, good job.
Thank you so much. I really wanted it to come across looking like a growing mineral, like, those like chunks of quartz that you get that are just growing jagged in all directions, and you can see like the light playing inside them. I really wanted to do that with this, and so I went with like a black and white theme for this in contrast to the gold, to just, I don't know, to give it the like old school vibe where it's like gold and black and white.
Yeah, it helps it to stand out for sure, instead of it looking like the same substance.
I didn't want it to just be gold on gold on gold all the time. Although if you vary the skin tone and we do something like a tarnished silver, having like jagged gold at the end, or like jagged pyrite almost looking like, I think that would be really cool. Yeah. You can always change it up.
Absolutely. I do also like, I want to mention the details you got like throughout the tail. It almost looks like, with the separation of the veining of that molten gold, it makes it almost look like overlapping scales in a way. Or kind of how like what do they call it, like mud flats, where it gets dry and then it kind of like separates into that cool craggly texture.
I don't know what it's called.
It looks really cool, but it like totally like, you can give it like that directional flow, and I feel like I really read that from it. It looks cool.
Awesome. Like it's growing out. I like
it's
that.
flowing out, and then like it culminates in the tail.
Like it's all one growth almost, one crystalline growth.
One crystal.
Yeah. And then, we look at it all together, and we really see it come through when you put all the different pieces. I can really see a character coming through this, a Helscarred moving through the world, trying to be good, trying not to focus on wealth and what they've got, and instead focusing on giving. And so it definitely brings up like Buddha to me.
I like that. Very like, like trying to detach in a way.
Yeah, like eschew the earthly things because they're not important. They're fleeting.
That would be really cool, even like to translate it to, like, I guess the most pious of a Greed Helscarred would be like not just material things, but even like earthly, fleshly, emotional desire, any kind of desire. That's
anything
really
in
cool.
excess. They just eschew all things. If you've read the Divergent series, they're the like super. Oh, what are they called?
I never read that series. I'm sorry.
Dang it. I did. I think it's abnegation is what they're called, which are like super selfless. They're not meant to like be selfish at all. So anybody who is selfish is like, how dare you? So yeah, I think it's very much like that, where they just don't want to even look at pretty things because then they'll want them.
Yeah, not even anything to incite the like tiniest bit of temptation.
Exactly.
They'll just shut it out.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, I can already see, like you said, like the expanse and the breadth of choices that you have building off of this is just really cool.
Oh yeah.
And I think you really translate with the art what we saw with the homebrew of like even the mechanical stuff. Like, I feel like it shows through the art, and I think that's really cool.
Oh, I'm down. I like that, like the building of the character and what they've got.
Yeah, that's like probably one of my like favorite parts of like D&D is that like it's not necessarily like some people do, but you're not necessarily making it all up as you go.
Right.
There's that scaffolding of mechanics, and then you get to like, I feel like that's where everything pours forth. Why is that so hard to say?
Just words, man. They suck.
Freaking words, man.
But yeah, no, I totally get that. And I mean, you can definitely see, mechanically speaking, if this tail whips out at someone and hits them with the tip of that thing, there'll be blood. Yeah.
And you can tell that there's got to be something to those eyes, that they are, obviously with the, I think there's different traits that you can, or like, I'd have to pull it up, but once a day you can like, I don't know, you can like see something's value or something, like you can actually like gauge it.
Oh, the what's it called? Dang it. Yeah.
But it's on
we'll
there.
Figure it
It's
out.
on the Discord.
It's appraise or something like that.
Yeah, there's some kind of appraisal that functions like identify. Yeah, you're on the right track. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I totally get it. But yeah, definitely something like that. Or like the No, that wouldn't be it. But it would definitely be like almost like the power gauges that the Saiyans have when they first come, or like the Ginyu Force have, where they're checking people's stats.
It's over 9,000.
Yeah,
gold.
Right? It's worth over 9,000. So yeah, it's basically like that. They have it built in, and so they can't help it, you know. But so they constantly have to make that decision, and I really like that it comes through as like both a D&D character and just artwork.
Yeah,
I'm really glad, because that kind of leads me into my third point here, is the whole use of art to bring ideas out of other worlds and into our own, out of the canvas, so to speak. My live streaming on Twitch is called The Cosmic Canvas, where I kind of do that because I believe that all books, all artwork, they're kind of windows into other worlds, whether they're real or not, you know, we don't know. But they're windows into other worlds, other experiences, and artwork helps us bring that out to ourselves, or to put art into other worlds too.
Totally. I think that any kind of art is ultimately like, it's like that relatable human experience. Someone is putting themselves out there, whether it's like super literal or super metaphorical, or, you know, just kind of there's some like allegorical way to tie it. Then you're kind of like having a connection with that person in some way.
Absolutely. I really like that. And that's how you build those connections, right? For artists out there trying to build followings, trying to put their work out there, that's how you gain those followers. You build that emotional connection, those ties to your artwork. So, you know, alone, these references that I'm showing, they don't mean anything. They don't have any emotion behind them. They're just references. But when you put them together, create a character out of them, give that character, personality, make them into a real living, breathing person in Extrayus or in any other world that you know, if you want to take these references and just world build with them, character build with them, go right ahead. I think it would be great because we're looking at the things coming out of the canvas into our world, that influencing us, and then when we make things, when we make artwork, we are creating worlds ourselves. So, yeah.
That's what I think is so special here with like the homebrew, is that, you know, you have the artistic in the writing, and then you have the artistic interpretation in these references, and then someone takes their artistic representation of their character that they make with it, or within the world, or what have you. But there's so many layers, and that's how you really, I don't know, it's that community storytelling type stuff that I love so much.
I like it too. And then you also don't feel that pressure, right, to get it all right all at once. You can ask for direction, ask for help.
Yeah, because like you said, it's I think like connecting with an audience is about knowing yourself ultimately, because then if you're being honest about, you know, your idea or your emotions you're putting into some artwork or some piece of writing, that's what's going to resonate, because that's real.
Especially in this day and age where content creators are everywhere, making all sorts of different art, not just physical art, just entertainment art in general. You know, you really have to kind of stand out. And the way you do that is by being individual, by being real, putting yourself out there, not some weird fake version.
Yeah. Like fan art stuff has its place, but I think that I don't know, you can tell there's always something special when someone like pushes the style or pushes the idea to the limits.
Absolutely. And you know, sometimes it's not the artist, sometimes it's people doing fan art, sometimes it's people taking the references that others make and creating something brand new out of them, which is awesome.
Or thinking of absolutely, like I see so many fan artists actually making like, you know, interactions or scenes with other characters that, you know, can't be put in an official show or like, you know, whatever it happens to be. And like, that's all expanding on the world.
Like fan fiction. That's something that actually functions in this, like I think 50 Shades of Grey is a fan fiction from Twilight.
Originally, yeah.
And that's canon. That's world. That world is also the Twilight world. The vampires exist in that world, and so now we see fan fiction can become actual art in the world. It can become a movie. It can be made into something with production value if you put enough personality, enough of yourself in there. It shows through.
People will resonate for sure.
Well, that's it for today's episode of Comic Cave. Thanks for hanging out with us and diving into the world of art and storytelling.
Make sure to follow and like and review the podcast. Don't forget to join us at the Couple of Nerds Discord to see all the art, share your work, and connect to other creatives.
Until next time, keep drawing, keep dreaming, and keep being nerdy.